Hello, this is Kilo Pop 4 Mike Delta.
Carol, it's James. I'm not able to run the net, although I can send an image. George and I were just talking about that. Hopefully somebody else can pick it up.
Okay, yeah, I think I can do some juggling here. I just got off the 10-meter net, and we'll go ahead and do that. Let's see. Okay, thank you everybody for your patience. Good evening, this is Carol, Kilo Pop 4 Mike Delta, Net Control Operator for River City Arc's Slow Scan Television Net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater in Sacramento, California on 441.30 megahertz. River City Arcs members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and Net Control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact Net Control by saying break break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Okay, stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before I continue. Any station who wishes to check into the net, please come now.
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec.
Norway 6 Yankee, Germany, George and Lincoln.
Alpha Echo 6 Juliet Golf, James and Gold River.
So.
Kilo Romeo 6 Romeo Alpha Oscar, Kishore in El Dorado Hills.
Okay, I got 4 of the check-ins. There was a double. I got November 6 Papa Golf Quebec. That's Bob. I have George. November 6 Yankee Golf. I'm glad you got modulation today. Alpha Echo 6 Juliet Golf. James, you doubled with someone, but I got you. And then I got Kishore, Kilo Romeo 6 Romeo Alpha Oscar. Who was the other station, please?
Try and check in.
Middle of hearing replacing a sound card, so I'd like to check in, but not participate tonight. Although I may be able to receive later. Back to dead at AI6DG.
Okay, I got Alpha India 6 Delta Golf, but there was another station that doubled with you at the beginning. Who was the other station, please?
Yeah, did you get me also, Carol? I didn't hear if you acknowledged my call sign or not.
Oh, yeah, November 6 Yankee Golf. I said you were in there, and I'm glad you have modulation this week. Thank you so much for coming in there. So we got 5 stations, November 6 Papa Golf Quebec, November 6 Yankee Go George, Alpha Echo 6 Juliet Golf, Kilo Romeo 6 Romeo Alpha Oscar, Alpha India 6 Delta Golf, who's going to be mostly listening, and then myself. And I'm Kilo Pop 4 Mike Delta, of course. So we're going to go ahead and proceed. We'll start at the top of the list. Bob, I'm also curious why we couldn't hear you on 10 meters. Something going on with your antenna there or something. Maybe you can answer that and then go ahead and send a picture over.
Go ahead, break.
Thanks, Bob. I think Bill checked in November 6, November, I forget, Hotel.
N6HA, Bill and Roselle.
Oh, okay. So we got number 7 is November 6 Hotel Alpha. Thank you for checking in there, Bill. I guess I might have doubled with you. So Bob, if you've got a picture, please go ahead with it, and just please enlighten us why your signal is so weak on 10 meters these days. Some going on there. Over to you. N6PGQ KP from.
Okay, yeah, Carol, I'm using a really crummy, low down, 10-meter vertical, and my normal antenna is not working, and I can't repair it until we can get a lift truck into the backyard, but it's so wet that we'd sink down to the axles. So I was trying to use it. Used to work pretty well to get in the net, so I have to do some checking to make sure the coax is good and nothing got damaged in the rain. So that's the story for that, and this should be PD 120 and 6PGQ. Having problems. Did you hear tone?
Yeah, we would hear tone like for about 3 or 4 seconds, and then you would stop transmitting altogether.
Okay, let me give it one more shot and see what's going on. N6PGQ.
Okay, thank you for that picture. Excellent clarity here. We'll pass it over to George. George, How did you copy that? Any comments?
That came over really well. Wow. Turn my monitor down. It was that loud. Let's see. Nope, that came over real well. And yeah, Bob Heil. All right. I'm assuming that that's an LP in that jacket. So, but the image came over well. The first one kept cutting out, as everybody heard, I think. Thought it was me for a minute, scrambling, trying to figure out, okay, what did I screw up now? All right, back to net, N6YG. And I think I have the, by the way, I think I have the upload going to mmstv.com. We'll see here in a minute.
Okay, thank you very much for that report, George. How about you, James, AE6JG? How did you copy that over?
It came through perfectly. In fact, I don't see any defects in the image, and that's very cool. I did not know that that was that Bob Heil was an organist. I'm assuming that's what this is. Back to net control, AE6JG.
Okay, thank you very much, James. We have a pretty large group here, so we're not going to go through the entire roll call for every single picture. But Bob, being you're the musician here among us, I'm sure you could give us a good explanation about this picture. Over to you, N6PGQ, KP from D.
Okay, well, this is a CD that Bob Heil produced of some of his favorite theater pipe organ favorites. And this is a picture of his custom designed, it was made for him, Hammond organ, and they sampled a whole bunch of different famous theater pipe organs and put the samples into his organ, and that's what he used to record this. Bob became a silent key just a few days ago, and one of my distinct pleasures was listening to him play the Mighty Wurlitzer at the Fox Theater in Visalia at the DX convention a few years ago. He was a phenomenal organist and just a really nice guy, and did a whole lot of things for ham radio, and we're sorry to see him go. N6PGQ.
Thank you. That was an excellent homage to Bob Heil, and yes, I was aware that he started, of course, doing audio for bands, and that's what really got him into the microphone and audio business. Yeah, quite a pioneer in that area. Thank you so much for sharing that. Are there any other comments about this picture before we continue?
Kilo Oscar 6, Alpha Golf Whiskey.
Okay, KO6AGW, that's Alan. Yeah, tell us what do you have to comment on this, Alvin?
I don't think I was heard at check-in, so I wanted to make sure I got checked in. This is my first night on this net, and I have the software, and that image came across fantastic, and I just wanted to raise my hand and say I'm here. KO6AGW.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry that we didn't get your first check-in. You are now on the list. Thank you very much. And we're going to go now to George, N6YG. If you're ready to send a picture, we will stand by and watch your picture. Over.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Let me double check, make sure I have a tone. Well, I don't need to do that. I've already sent a couple pictures, so. Here goes, PD120 and N6YG.
Okay, very good. We're going to go down to Kishore, KR6RAO. Can you please tell us how you copied that picture? Over.
Yeah, this is Kilo Romeo 6 Romeo Alpha Oscar. Picture came through really good, N6YG. Looks like a kid there in front of a radio with the headset on, and looks like having fun. I see a couple of, I see a radio in the foreground, and a whole bunch of like a power supply, and the picture came through really well, good colors and everything. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that report, Kishore. I'm going to see if Joel's ready to give a report on receiving his picture. Over.
Well, I need to go into the other room and start soldering, so I received it on YouTube this time. And on YouTube, it looks really clean. I don't see any pops. N6YG on the left, SSTV on the right, and we've got a gentleman with a child in his lap, and the child's got headphones and is holding a microphone and appears to be operating the radio sitting in front of two of them on the table. Can't tell if it's VHF, UHF, or HF. But the kid seems intent, and I wonder if he's got a good DX station on the air. Back to net, AI6TG.
Okay, thank you very much for that report, Joel. And you pretty much reported what I received and sent over to YouTube. Thank you. Over to you, George. Tell us a little bit more about this picture, and who is that in that picture? Over.
Well, that's me and my grandson, and he's sitting in my lap. We're on a repeater. I was listening. This was just after the SST or the Girl Scouts ISS contact. So that's the station for the ISS contact for the Girl Scouts. And so he came over, and as soon as it was over, he came over and climbed in my lap, and so I tuned into an active repeater so he could listen to it. He's kind of fascinated by it, so every time he comes over here, he's got to listen to the radio. And yeah, he's 5 years old, and he's already flying remote control helicopters, and he's very good at it, which is absolutely mind-boggling. He's flying. He started flying remote control airplanes about a year and a half ago. And he flies them. He can land them by himself, and he is very good at it. Now he's flying helicopters. He's got a little 450, and he flies that as well. But that's all due to the simulators that they have out now. I mean, we have these virtual reality simulators for learning to fly, and they're so realistic that you spend a couple months on one of those, and you can pretty much hop right into it. So. By the time he's 16 years old, he's going to be a sponsored pilot someplace. But this is the before I don't want to hold this too long. This is the Girl Scout station. That's the ICOM 9700. Off to the right of that is the M2 sequencer, and then underneath that would be, you can't quite see it, there's a polarization switch. And then right underneath the radio is the rotator for the azimuth and elevation control, and then off to the left would be the SAT control unit, which does computer control of the rotator. And so that's pretty much you can see. And then on the right, which is out of view, there's a laptop and a monitor, an external monitor too. So back to net, N6YG.
Wow, that is an absolutely outstanding picture. Yes, I did recognize you, of course, and the station there from that Girl Scout contact with the International Space Station. I wouldn't be surprised if your grandson would be able to fly a space station at this rate. He's just so advanced. That's amazing. You're absolutely right. Any other comments or feedback about this picture now? Over.
I can't wait for George to put that radio into his shack so we see how it performs for him, not talking to the space station.
I'm using it right now.
I copied that. That's good, George. A6JG.
Okay, well, thank you. This is some really good pictures we're having tonight. So we're going to go to next in line. Number 3 is James A6JG. If you have a picture, can you please go ahead and send it over?
PD 120.
Okay, this is KP4MD. I'm going to go ahead and give my feedback on this. Interesting picture. It came through with just like about a couple dozen pixel pops. There was the N6NA Morse code ID down at in the bottom fifth of the picture. There you can see one line across. It looks like a view through a window looking out towards the ocean. I see what looks like a couple of coconut palms. So I don't think that's anywhere around here. Looking out, there's a view, ocean view, and in the distance, it looks like there may be an island, a little right of the center. And I see some white. I'm not sure what those things are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, lined up, all in a row, and it looks like a gentleman or some person that's leaning over to the left and. Over by the fifth white. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, in the foreground, inside the window, it looks like you have some folded linens or towels on top of a table, and that's what I can make out of it. I don't know what else. So I'm going to drop it over to Bill N6HA and see if you copied it. You have any comments on that?
Thank you, Carol. Yeah, good copy here. Not too many pixel pops. Looks like you're inside some kind of building overlooking a tropical scene. I see 2 palm trees in the back in the ocean, some cabanas maybe, like Carol was saying. Yeah, looks like a fun vacation. I wonder where this is taken. I like the the view through the window. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I wonder where this is. N6HA back to net.
Okay, we'll turn it back to you, James, and you could fill us in on what this picture is, please.
Thanks, Carol. Well, this is the view from the laundry room at the Flying Flags campground in Avila Beach, just north of Pismo Beach. And we were there in January, and it's still under construction. The bungalows you see down there, you can live in those or rent those if you don't have a camper. And that's just a view out to the ocean. just looking west. But I just thought it was kind of an interesting contrast as I was folding laundry to look out that window at that beautiful sight. Of course, it's always a little bit better in person, but that's what it was. Back to you, Carol, AE6JG.
Well, thank you for that sharing that little piece of your trip down there. That's a really nice picture. Are there any other comments before we go on? Okay, nothing heard. So now we'll go over to you, Kishore, KR6RAO. Do you have a picture for us? Please go ahead and send it over.
Yeah, net control KR6RAO, checking for tone.
Yep, yeah, that was good. Go ahead.
Okay, here goes PD 120.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Kishore. Over to you, Alan, KO6AGW. How did you copy that, and what do you make of that picture? Over.
Well, we got a call sign, KR6RAO, and the image is interesting. Here it is. Capers. They look like capers. I don't know what I'm looking at. Am I looking at a landscape with bushes or a microscape with capers? That's the best I got, but it's interesting. It came across quite well. All these images are coming across well. It's my first time doing this. Pretty impressed. Back to net.
Okay, yeah, very good. Alan, before we go on, could you tell us what do you have set up for receiving? What are you using? Do you have a some kind of an interface over?
Are you on the output?
Alan.
I think he's on the output.
Oh, I see. People are not hearing Alan. Alan, you're not going through the repeater apparently.
No, I am simplex. That is correct. Let me correct that, and you can skip over me if, or so.
Okay, wow, I couldn't tell. He's just coming so well here on transmitting on the output of the repeater. Did anybody else copy that? Okay, I tell you what. Let's go up to Bob. N6PGQ. How did you copy that picture? And any feedback on that?
Well, I copied the picture very well. There are a few pixel pops in it, but not objectionable. We start with a picture with KR6RAO at the top in very nice bright colors. And then we have a picture that I don't know how the heck you describe it. It's a landscape with a whole bunch of round things. So I don't know if they're some kind of like a fungus growing there, or like a I don't know, like I honestly don't know. It's very interesting. There's all sorts of little balls all over the picture. I don't know if they're like toadstools or what. I'm going to be interested to know what they are. But the quality was good here at my QTH N6PGQ.
Okay, thank you very much for that report, Bob. And I'm sorry for those of you who didn't hear Alan, but I was not aware that he was not coming through the repeater, which he needs to fix that if he's going to send a picture to us on the repeater, that's for sure. KR6RAO, Kishore, can you please explain what this enigma is? It looks like a bunch of meatballs that are scattered all over the ground somewhere. Over.
Yeah, Net Control, Kishore, KR6RAO. Glad to know it's an enigma. Let me try to explain. Actually, this is going along with James's beach theme. This is a picture on a beach. And what you see in the very background doesn't show us really well, is actually waves there on the ocean, and then in the foreground is the sand. And this picture is taken a few inches above the sand with an iPhone, and it's a regular standard picture. It's not magnified, it's not zoomed in, but this is a great picture on a beach which I was at, and those round things there are spherical sand formations. They're about 5 millimeters in diameter, and there's some sort of a insect break. It's some sort of an insect or something which makes these balls and puts them on the beach, and there are thousands and thousands of these balls around there. So I thought it was very interesting, and you can see the shadows of the balls all the way down to the ocean. There's just literally probably hundreds of thousands of trees, but it's a picture of sand on a beach transformed by some sort of insect. Back to net, KR6RAO.
Wow, thank you. Where did you take this picture? Where were you?
Good question. This is kind of where I grew up. It's a place called Brunei, near Malaysia, and I happened to go back there to visit the place after, 55 years. So it was good to go back there, but this is a beach. It's north of Malaysia.
Oh, okay. I think I'm familiar with that. Is that on the island of Borneo?
Correct, Carol. Copy. It's Brunei. It's a state of Brunei, or called Bandar Sri Begawan. It's in the island of Borneo, way north of Malaysia.
Well, I think that's one reason why I've never seen anything like this here. I don't know if this exists anywhere in this part of the world, but very exotic and was quite an enigma. Thank you for sharing this picture. In the meantime, we'll give Alan a chance to figure out what he's needing to fix there. We're going to go on to Joel, AI6DG. Do you have a picture? Are you ready to send over?
I'm sorry, I just walked back into the room. What was that?
Are you prepared to send a picture now?
Negative, still in the other room on the soldering iron under a microscope. Maybe in 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, we'll see probably at the bottom of the list if we get you in there. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try and send one. And this is going to be PD 120. Let's see if I actually send a picture. The last couple of weeks I have not been able to do that. It's KP4MD. Okay, okay. Now we'll go over to George. N6YG, how'd you copy and any feedback on that?
That came over real well. I've got some pops and clicks, but the image came over looking real well. It says VL Toda Party. March 8th, 2024, International Women's Day. Nice. I learned something interesting I didn't realize I was doing on this. I had noise reduction was on this radio. I don't know why it would be on for FM. I don't know how I just totally spaced that, but I noticed that NR was on the screen. I said, noise reduction. And I turned that off, and it was actually interfering with the copying of the images. It was actually introducing some distortion, especially along the left edge. The image would kind of tear a little bit, and it's kind of hard to explain. I'll have to send some pictures. As soon as I turned off noise reduction, the quality of the images improved substantially. So if you have a radio that has noise reduction, make sure you turn that off. N6YG.
Okay, thank you very much for that that feedback and that report. Over to you, James, AE6JG. How did you copy this? Over.
Well, at first I thought it was a party for me because my birthday's March 8th, but it's not. It came through good. I have a lot of, I don't know what you call them, horizontal pops, I guess, but they look like the CW letter S all throughout. But the image came through. I like the design of it, and I'm looking forward to maybe finding some CW POTA people who were part of this party if I can. But I really like the design, Carol. It's great. This is James, AE6JG.
Okay, thank you very much, James. Yeah, this is a picture I took off an announcement that was on Facebook about the International Women's Day, March 8th, Parks on the Air event. So there's going to be a lot of YLs activating parks. And happy birthday, by the way. So you can celebrate part of your time on the air there working YLs. So thank you. Yeah, I just want to comment that the picture is a little fuzzy, and that's just the original is like that. It's not a very sharp around where the letters are, but like a lot of pastel colors there. Very good. Next, Bill, November 6 Hotel Alpha. If you have a picture to send, we're ready for you.
Yeah, let me check my tone real quick.
Yep, it's good and loud. Oh.
Thank you. This is November 6 Hotel Alpha, and this will be PD 120.
Okay, thank you very much for that picture, Bill. We'll go next to Kishore, KR6RAO. How did you copy that? Any comments on this? Over.
Yeah, this is KR6RAO. Picture came through. I think there's a lot of pixel pops, especially in the upper part of the picture. But clearly, this is a picture of, I believe, the Niagara Falls, seen from the Canadian side, perhaps. I'm not sure. But it's definitely a beautiful picture. We see 3, maybe 4 people in the foreground and a few more people up in the middle of the picture on the scaffolding near the falls. Clearly see the water coming down, the spray coming up. It's a really, really beautiful picture and very bright and in bright sun. Back to net, KR6RAO.
Okay, thank you very much for that report. How about you, Joel, AI6GG? Are you still working on your soldering, or can you give us a report on this picture?
Digging around behind monitors and equipment and trying to plug things back in. But my ears perked when I heard Niagara Falls. I came back out and looking at the picture, and yeah, that looks like the observation deck down below Luna Falls with American Falls in the background, and the big Horseshoe Falls, which is split. So both of those falls are on the American side, and Horseshoe Falls, which is split between the American and Canadian side, the border actually goes down the middle of those falls, is actually behind us out of view. They set this up once a year. Someone actually crawls down there and constructs this and tears it down at the end of summer. I spent a summer in Niagara Falls and didn't actually do this, but I definitely saw it and read about it, and it's probably quite an exciting tour. You get there off of Goat Island, which is part of the Niagara State Park, New York State Park. Anyway, back to net, AI6DG.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm back. Thank you very much for that report, Joel. Bill, can you give us a explanation what this picture is and where you got it? Over.
Yeah, Joel got it perfectly right. That is the bridal veil in the American Falls. This is the view from the Canadian side, even though I am on still the American side of Niagara Falls, down on the bottom there. This is a part of the tour that you can pay for at the Niagara Park. You take a giant elevator down to something they call the Cave of the Winds, which is, I don't know why it's part of the selling point. It's just a long tunnel that leads you out to this scaffolding that's all made of wood, and you could walk around the falls and see the American and the Bridal Veil Falls very well. So yeah, we had a good time when we went, and sounds like we might be going here again, hopefully this year. So I really enjoyed Niagara Falls. This was a good site, but I would highly recommend the electric power tour on the Canadian side. They let you go down the old spillway, and it gives you end up exiting directly underneath the Horseshoe Falls, more or less, and that's a spectacular view. So I would recommend that much more than the Cave of the Winds. But if you have time, do both, because it was a fun time anyway. So hoping to return back here soon to Niagara Falls. It was a fun time. N6HA back to net.
Okay, thank you very much for that report, Bill. And I would never have guessed. To me, it almost looked like it was some kind of an avalanche. I was. Except that the people in the foreground don't look like they're dressed for winter. It's very impressive. Thank you. Let's see, K06AGW. Alan, are you able to talk through the repeater yet? Over. We'll try it again. K06AGW. Are you still with us, Alan? This is KP4MT. Over.
K06AGW. Am I making the repeater?
No. You're talking on the output again. Do you have the offset is +5 megahertz? You should be transmitting on 446-300 with the correct PL, as long as you have the correct PL. Over.
Off there.
Yeah, the repeater stepped on you. You have to wait for the repeater to drop before you can talk, or else I can't hear you. And I did send you an email just now with that PL information, since we don't mention that on the air. Over.
Copy that. I still have to make adjustments here. I'm sure I have the wrong PL tone, or I'm not sure. Back to net.
Okay, I heard that. I heard that you say you think you have the wrong PL, but look at the email, and if the net's still on and you can go ahead and just program it in there, you're certainly welcome to join us and maybe send a picture. But I'm glad you're able to pick up some of our pictures here. I'm going to go back up to Joel, who has not sent a picture. He said he might send one later. So I wonder if you're available with a picture yet, Joel. AR6TGs, KP4MD.
Well, let me see if I can do a tone.
No tone and not even a carrier.
Yeah, I'm still configuring things, and it's possible that I don't know which ones sound in and which ones sound out. And it's possible I have them reversed and I need to go swap them. So skip me. Come back later. Thanks for being there. AR6DG back to net.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll skip you because we're down at the end of the list already, and the only other person who had not sent the picture was Alan, but Alan had not. I guess he had to go in and change the programming, and I don't know if that was something easy to do. Let's give it back to Alan and see if do you think you could be able to transmit a picture or talk through the repeater, Alan? Over.
No, I cannot transmit. I cannot get on the. I don't know the PL tone. I don't have an email. So skip it for tonight. We'll try next week.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. We did send something to. It was from admin at N6NA .org, and it went to alan.mason at sbcglobal.net just about 5 minutes ago. So it's there, and it's got all the information for you. So I'm sorry it didn't work out tonight, but we'll be looking forward to have you join us next week if you can be here. Okay, we're up almost to the top of the hour, and we already did one complete go-round. I'm just going to put out there if anybody wants to send one other picture before we wrap up the net, or shall we just go ahead and close the net? This is KP4MD.
I could probably send one to close out the net, N6YG.
Okay, yeah, you used to do that. Used to put the 73 that's all folks and stuff. That's cute. That's very cute. Well, why don't you go ahead and do that, George? I appreciate that, and thank everybody for joining us tonight on this net. Over to you, George. N6YG's KP4MD.
All right, here we go. I'm going to send this one MR90.
Well, thank you so much for the Bugs Bunny. That's all, folks. And again, I want to thank everybody who joined us on the net here tonight. This is the N6NA slow scan television net out of Sacramento, California, and we meet here Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on our YouTube channel as well as on the 441.30 repeater here in Sacramento. And we switch over to daylight savings time this coming Sunday, which means for those of you on UTC, we won't be on at 0400. 0500 would be 1 hour earlier, 0400 UTC, but we'll stay on 9 p.m. Pacific daylight time. So thanks to everybody who joined us, and looking forward to seeing you again next week. This is Kilopop for Mike Delta. In Citrus Heights, California now, securing the net. 73s to all. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for running the net tonight, Carol. Good job. I was going to tell you, I'm using that MFJ, what's it called? It's ridiculously expensive, 1263 microphone switch. I finally got it set up and working. So I have a headset. It allows me to switch between a headset and a hand mic between two radios. So I can either use the headset or the hand mic on either the 9700 or the 7300. And it seems to be working so far. I was planning on using it in the Girl Scout event, but I just couldn't get it configured in time.
Okay, thank you. Well, it seems to be working very well for you there, George. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope to see you regularly here on the net. Thanks for joining us, and good night to all. This is Kilopop for Mike Delta.
Kilo Oscar 6 Alpha Golf Whiskey. Radio check.
Practically perfect. It was a great quality image.
There was a little bit of a double there. What were you saying about the image?
I was just telling you, I was just exclaiming the quality. It's like perfectly black. I see one little pop by the carrot, and the rest of it is perfectly black. So excellent image. AE6JG.
All right, good deal. Yeah, that's MR90. It's a little bit more of a little more modern transmission mode, and it was actually written by the gentleman who wrote MMS-TV. That's one of his modes. So, and there was another station in there. Go ahead.
Kilo Oscar 6 Alpha Golf Whiskey. Radio check.
Solid into the repeater now. I think that was you that was on the output.
Yeah, I've been struggling, and I didn't have the PL tone. That was the whole problem, and I couldn't find Carol's email, but I found it, and day late, dollar short. But this was fun, and I got all these images. Super fun.
Send one if you can, N6HA.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And I was, by the way, I was copying you on the reverse. I could hear you. You're about an S2, S3 up here in Lincoln. Where are you at?
I'm in Tahoe Park neighborhood. I've got it 50 watts pushing through a Diamond X50, so it gets out pretty well.
What radio?
FT 500.
Oh, yeah. It's just interesting because I'm out here in Lincoln. All right, hey, if you got a picture, go ahead and send it, N6YG.
Yeah, I would like to give this a try at least. This is, my very first time, and I'm using this SSTV version 1.13A. I hope that's pretty modern. I got a digi-rig running between the FT500 and the computer. So give me just a second here. I'm going to try and send one.
If you want, we could check for a tone first. That way you're not sending dead air. Just go to the TX tab and then click that 1500 button.
I see I'm on the transmit tab. What do I press?
Right next to TX, there should be another button that says 1750 or something like that. I don't remember what the default is. If you right-click that, you can actually enter in any frequency you want. So you can like put a 1,000 hertz tone.
Well, it was set to 1200. I pressed it, and something happened. Did you guys hear it?
I didn't hear a tone.
Let me try it again. Was that tone heard?
Is the radio keying up?
No, it's not. No, it's not. So I'm pressing that tone button, and there's something on my screen here, but apparently it's not getting out.
E6JG.
Go ahead, James. This is KO6AGW.
Alan, did you download the Yaesu sound card drivers?
Well, yes, I did, because I've been using this DigiRig to run Vara FM and other programs. So yeah, those all work. I would use that as recently as last night.
Are any of those applications open right now?
Negative, I don't think so, but there could be a conflict.
Under options, have you gone into the setup on MMSTV yet?
I affirm, but yeah, under options, set up SSTV.
Exactly, yeah. And then there's an RX tab and a TX tab. Look at the TX tab. And what do you have set up for PTT command? There's two ways of doing this. You can either do it through CAT control or just physical hardware control. And I'm curious if that device that you're using, does that physically key the radio by pulling the PTT to ground, or is it Vox?
Well, I think you're asking about the DigiRig, which is really, as I understand, it's just a sound card. That's that, and then looking at this transmit tab, the PTT is set to COM port 4, which should be correct. I double-checked that by using Device Manager and unplugging it and plugging it back in, and then exclusive lock. What do you think?
Go into the radio command. Click the radio command and go over to the far right and look under DTR RTS and see if that's clicked for PTT.
Go to check the digital output level to just set it to maximum volume output. That way it triggers the actual, because I think it's a Vox control with DigiRig. You don't need to set up the COM port PPT, I think.
Yeah, there's a couple of those, and I'm not sure which one that is. So if it's Vox, then you have a Vox tone that you can set up on that same pad, that same tab, and I actually use those to send musical notes on here. Listen to this. I guess I didn't turn it on. I thought I did.
The Vox tone is set to standard.
digital output level set to max also?
It's pretty high, but not max. I just slid it all the way to the right. That's a digital output level.
Yeah, roger that. I have to have mine far right for it to work properly. And then we're all assuming on miscellaneous, your sound card, the in and out is set to the proper sound port for your DigiRig, right?
Yeah, COM port 4, I verified that.
Under the miscellaneous tab, there's a TX tab and then miscellaneous. You'll see sound card, and then there's an in and out. Mine's set to USB audio codecs on both of those.
Well, the sound card was set. I hadn't been here before, but it was set to default, whatever that was, and it's a drop-down menu, and I set both in and out to now DigiRig. Maybe it'll work now?
Yeah, that's kind of important.
It's still not keying the radio. So yeah, that's not getting me there yet.
And Alan, this is James, confirming you did download the Yaesu, I forget the name of it, codec drivers. There's two of them for the sound card on the computer.
You're confusing me. I thought the DigiRig was a sound card. Does that radio have a built-in sound card as well?
Well, I've been confused about the same topic. I'm sure the computer has a sound card. Of course it does. It's a laptop, a modern laptop. It has a sound card. But I am also running. Well, that's how I'm connecting to the radio is through the DigiRig unit.
Alan, we doubled. Did you say yes or no that you've downloaded the Yaesu sound card software for the computer?
Yes, I have the Yaesu sound card for the computer.
Okay, that's excellent. And you know what port the standard and the enhanced versions are?
What radio is this?
FT500.
I think we doubled. And you've used this radio with other applications before, so that you've gotten it working. It's just MMS TV that's not getting set up correctly.
That's FTM 500?
Yes, FTM 500, and yes, I've used this setup with other software, specifically Vara FM, and to operate WinLink Express.
I think everyone's thinking, Alan. All right. Well, MMS SSTV is. I had trouble setting it up. I had Anders NR6H come over and help me at one point. I'm not sure if we'll need that as you play with it, but maybe Bill or George have more ideas.
I'm going to QSY to the ISS repeater. I'll leave my computer on though, and hopefully I receive an image from you, Alan. I'll be back in maybe 19 minutes. N6HA, QSY.
All right, so I can't hear myself again. test. There we are. All right. Yeah, I'm just going through the manual real quick. I have the FTM 400, and I don't recall if that has a sound card built into it or not.